during COVID. It very much seemed like people were being sent to us to tell us things that we just knew was not true, but they were going to keep saying it until it was. So I want you to deeply consider that plausibility, that there is a ring that is operating. It's almost, to me, the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that adds up. There's just been so much obvious lying that is happening in the mainstream media. There has just been so much in terms of the demonic and overtly sexual agendas that are being packaged for children. And I have said this for a while, and it's very clear to me that we are all being groomed as a society to accept pedophilia. That they're just going, this is totally fine. That seems to be coming down the pipeline. It's clear that there are politicians that are passing pieces of legislation through to support this perverted agenda. It's clear that the celebrities are supporting a perverted agenda. The music makers, well, maybe every single one of them, these individuals, are being blackmailed. Again, I think that is the only thing that makes perfect sense. And where are my fellow conspiracy theorists at? Shout out to all my anti-vaxxers. Where are you at? We should be celebrating. We should host a party because we are being proven so right in the long run. And the evidence for that, obviously, is COVID. And I will say over and over again, I am grateful that COVID happened. It was very clear to me from day one. I stood up against it. I was called every name imaginable. But it was very clear that we were witnessing the greatest psychological experiment in the world. If with enough insistence and using a ticker to show deaths, if they could convince people to almost engage in performative rituals, masking yourself despite the fact that the masks were not effective, staying away from your family members, 6 feet social distancing. It is incredible how many people got in line with this. I think this was termed mass formation psychosis, to see the entire world suddenly using so much antibacterial soap, even though it was a virus, made entirely no sense, all the time, everywhere, not allowing their kids to go outside, fearful that they would die despite the overwhelming evidence that this was pretty much just a cold. We're never going to believe this, guys. And yes, they used Hollywood. Remember all of the actors and actresses rolling up their sleeves bravely. Go back and look at those people. Yep, because they're a part of this ring of individuals that are meant to sell you lies. Maybe because they're being paid to, maybe because they're being blackmailed to and they're being controlled. But these people were telling you to lift up your bodies and to sacrifice your bodies for a medical experiment, which has had devastating consequences, which is the only reason it's actually not funny in the retrospect, is that there are people that are now paralyzed from this, right? Well, check out this headline from the Wall Street Journal. It's official. We can pretty much treat COVID like the flu now. Here's a guide. And yes, this guide is the CDC explaining to you that you can now just treat this like every other respiratory virus. Wow. Does that make any sense to you? Not everybody got the vaccine. Many people, like myself, stayed away from the vaccine. They just got away with masks, and there wasn't this, suddenly tons of people were dying. In fact, slowly, they have admitted that everything they told you was a lie. And they're just hoping that you forget. They're hoping that the next generation forgets, right? That they have really, in my viewpoint, committed a crime against humanity. They injured people, they killed some people, they gave young people heart attacks, and they did all of this via a psychological experiment to see who would just do it anyways. How many times did I tell you that what you're looking at is, I'm going to present to you a boy and just keep telling you, no, it's a woman, it's a woman, it's a woman. And eventually you'll start to believe it's a woman. It's very scary, guys. You have to recognize the power of psychology. This is why I unpacked who exactly Freud was, somebody that's hailed as a hero in our textbooks. What is the entire point of the public education system if it is not really just experimenting with psychology, experimenting with what you can tell children and how they will therefore engage in society when they come out of that system? And so, now they're basically admitting that COVID is just like the flu. And hold your horses, everybody, because I promise you in a couple of weeks, they're going to be saying, oh, actually, it's just like a cold. Yeah, it's pretty much just like a cold, which is what those horrific anti-vaxxers told you from the very beginning. But who we represented were people that were willing to speak truth to power. And what I want to encourage you guys to do now, even if you are somebody that got the vaccine, even if you were somebody that believed in this, don't be angry at yourself. How could you not? Every expert, every doctor, every person that you should, at least, by the way, if we believe in morality whatsoever, you should believe in, they lied to you. So don't be upset with yourself, but Consider how you can learn from it, is what I want to say. How are you going to pivot now so that you do not become a victim of this entire system of lies? I mean, it's the reason why I've created A Shot in the Dark, because as I said, that show that I have on Daily Wire Plus is crucial for every parent to watch and to understand that it did not begin with the COVID vaccine. It began with the very first vaccine. They have been lying forever and getting away with it because all they do is they wait for the next generation of individuals who weren't alive to believe what they put in textbooks. So you have been led to believe that everyone was just dying of polio, right? And that a vaccine came away and eradicated it. That is a demonstrable lie, okay? I can show you that. Please watch A Shot in the Dark if you guys are not already and you are a parent or if you have grandchildren, anything. Everyone needs to understand that we are fighting really pure evil.